Back in the 1960s, people in America were noticeably slimmer than they are today. And yet they weren't obsessing over calorie counting or following the latest diet fads. Their daily habits were rooted in simplicity, leading to natural weight management without much fuss. In this article, we'll uncover 10 surprising, time-tested diet secrets from the 1960s secrets that have been largely forgotten in our modern, convenience-oriented world. These habits weren't about deprivation, but about enjoying wholesome meals, maintaining regular routines, and living a life in harmony with food. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to learn more about the lifestyle and habits. From the 60s to the 90s. In the 1960s, the idea of snacking between meals was almost unheard of. Children were not allowed to rummage through the pantry whenever hunger struck, and adults didn't keep candy bars or energy bars stashed in their desks. Meals were a scheduled event, and the kitchen was closed outside those times. This was more than just a matter of discipline, it was simply the way things were. Snack foods weren't as readily available in stores, and the snack food industry was still in its infancy. If you grew up in the 60s, you'd likely remember the rule, no eating between meals. Without the constant availability of snacks, families remained satisfied longer as their meals were hearty and filling. Breakfasts were full, nourishing affairs, bacon, toast with butter, and whole milk foods that provided lasting energy. Today's quick grab-and-go breakfasts, like sugary bars, often leave one feeling hungry again within an hour. And without frequent snacking, insulin levels remain steady throughout the day, reducing the blood sugar crashes we often experience now. Meals were enjoyed more as people came to the table genuinely hungry, savoring their food rather than grazing constantly. If you were to step into a restaurant from the 1960s, you'd likely be taken aback by the modest portions that were considered normal at the time. A hamburger, for instance, weighed only 3 to 4 ounces, about the size of the palm of your hand. Compare that to today's burgers, which regularly tip the scales at 8 to 12 ounces. Even a large soda was just 8 ounces, whereas today's small can often exceed 16 ounces. With large servings stretching up to 32 ounces or more, French fries came in one size small. But home portions were equally modest. It wasn't just restaurant servings that were smaller. At home, dinner plates were typically 9 inches in diameter, far smaller than the 12-inch plates we often use today. People ate from full plates, but the servings were smaller, and they were perfectly satisfied. The portion size effect shows that. We tend to eat more when we're presented with more, regardless of actual hunger. In the 1960s, people weren't bombarded with oversized portions. They simply ate until they were content, not stuffed. Even packaged foods came in smaller sizes. Bags of chips were only 1 ounce. And candy bars were half the size of what we see today. This smaller portion size naturally kept overeating in check, and with fewer processed foods, people could enjoy a variety of real, fresh ingredients without concern for excess. In the 1960s, walking was simply a part of daily life. Children walked to school, often covering a mile or more, and adults walked to run errands, visit neighbors, or go to church. Walking wasn't a scheduled exercise, it was how people got around. Today, fewer than 13% of children walk to school, compared to 48% in the 1960s. Adults, too, were more active, averaging 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day just through their daily routines. Simple tasks like washing dishes, hanging laundry, and walking to the store kept people moving. This constant low-level activity, now called neat non-exercise activity thermogenesis, naturally kept metabolism active and weight in check. It wasn't intense exercise, it was just the normal pace of life. Family dinners in the 1960s were a daily ritual. At 6 p.m. sharp, everyone gathered around the table, no exceptions. There were no distractions like TV or eating on the go. It was a time for connection and conversation. Meals were eaten slowly, people enjoying the food in each other's company. This practice of mindful eating helped regulate portions, as people ate until they were satisfied, not stuffed. Dinner times also aligned with the body's natural hunger signals, preventing overeating and supporting healthy weight management. In the 1960s, meals were prepared from scratch, not from boxes or frozen dinners. Families spent time cooking real food from basic ingredients like eggs, flour, and vegetables. Cooking from scratch allowed for control over ingredients, ensuring meals were wholesome and free from hidden sugars or preservatives. Portion sizes were naturally limited, and food had real flavor. The time spent in the kitchen made meals more appreciated and less likely to be wasted, leading to healthier eating habits overall. In the 1960s, sugar was a special treat, not a daily habit. It was reserved for birthdays, holidays, or occasional homemade desserts. Kids didn't have constant access to candy, and sugary drinks weren't a regular part of meals. With an average intake of just 12 teaspoons per day, people didn't suffer from the sugar cravings we face today. Desserts were modest, making them more enjoyable. This limited sugar intake helped keep blood sugar levels stable and prevented the overeating that often results from sugar addiction. Meals in the 1960s followed a strict schedule. Breakfast at 7 a.m., lunch at noon, and dinner at 6 p.m. There were no skipped meals or grazing throughout the day. This regular eating pattern helped regulate metabolism and hunger hormones. People knew when food was coming, so they didn't snack or overeat. The predictability of meal times also improved digestion and promoted better sleep. As there were no late-night food cravings or heavy meals before bed, grocery shopping in the 1960s was a different experience. There were no vast freezer sections or aisles filled with processed, prepackaged meals. Instead, the focus was on fresh, seasonal produce and whole foods. People bought what was available locally, and meals were made from ingredients that spoiled quickly, meaning families had to shop often. Bread was freshly baked, milk came in glass bottles, and vegetables were often picked that same week. There were no preservatives or additives. Food had real taste because it was fresh and natural. This focus on fresh food helped people avoid the temptation to overeat. Fresh, whole ingredients provided more nutrients and were more filling, which naturally reduced cravings for processed snacks. Cooking with fresh ingredients required more effort, but it also meant better nutrition and more mindful eating. The limited availability of processed foods made it easier to maintain a healthy, balanced diet. In the 1960s, physical activity was woven into everyday life. People didn't need to go to the gym to stay active. Their daily routines naturally involved movement. Many men worked in factories or manual labor jobs that required physical effort. Women, too, spent much of their day doing housework, which was far more physically demanding than it is today. Tasks like washing clothes by hand, ironing, and carrying groceries upstairs kept people moving. Children also played outside much, more than they do today, running, climbing, and riding bikes for hours. Even simple activities like walking to the store or tending to the yard required more physical effort. This constant, low-intensity movement kept metabolisms active and helped people maintain healthy weight without needing to schedule specific workout time. The difference is clear. Physical work was an integral part of life, not a separate task we fit into a busy schedule. Dining out in the 1960s was a rare treat, not a weekly or daily occurrence. Most families ate at home, where they had full control over what went into their meals. If they did go out, it was usually for a special occasion, like a birthday or anniversary, not for a quick lunch or takeout. In 1960, restaurants were more about quality than quantity, and meals were far smaller than what we see today. Fast food chains like McDonald's were just starting to grow with only a few locations, and eating out wasn't something families did on a whim. This limited exposure to restaurant food helped people maintain healthier diets and portion control. When people did eat out, it was a more leisurely experience, sitting down with family or friends, enjoying the food and taking time to savor the meal. This meant that rich, indulgent meals had a stronger impact when they were consumed less often, making them more enjoyable and less likely to contribute to overeating. The diet secrets of the 1960s offer valuable lessons for modern living. Then people didn't rely on fads or extreme measures to maintain a healthy weight. Instead, they followed simple, practical habits like eating regular, wholesome meals, walking everywhere, and enjoying family dinners. They cooked from scratch, limited sugar intake, and kept their portions in check. These habits weren't about restriction, but about creating a balanced, mindful relationship with food. While today's world is full of convenience foods and fast-paced living, we can still take a page from the past. Reintroducing some of these time-tested practices, like regular meal times, walking more, and savoring home-cooked meals,
Yes.
can help us improve our health and reconnect with food in a more intentional way. The simplicity of these habits could be the key to achieving lasting well-being, just as they were in the 1960s.